Hello, my name is Quantrell Robertson, and I am a foster child. I initially went into foster care in the spring of 1994. I was initially brought into foster care because my mother, uh, it was basically neglect. I come home after school in fourth, fifth grade. It was over to spend like 2 years. I think it was more than that. Um, but I come home and the door was locked. She wasn't around. I go stay with friends. We lived in the projects of Jefferson City, Missouri, which when you hear Jefferson City, Missouri, you don't really think about projects like that, but there were. In fact, they were called Chocolate City. Um, so I go to my neighborhood friends, and they let me come stay there at their place. And uh, finally, it just came to a point where somebody called the hotline on my mom, and she had an opportunity to take me back, or to get me back. They gave her a year to go through their program and to get me back, and she didn't do it. I went into foster care. Initially, I started out at the juvenile center because that's where they send kids when you don't have a home or a placement initially. So that's kind of where you go to get a placement. I was fortunate. After a month or two of being there, I went into a foster home. That foster home, the family, they end up going to the moving out of state. So if you're a ward of the court, then you don't go with the family unless they adopt you, and that family didn't adopt me. I thought that was a blessing in disguise because I thought that family, I mean, the man of the house was, he's a preacher, and he was kind of forcing the religion down on me, and yeah, I really wasn't feeling that at 11. So they left, and I mean, for me, I went back to the juvenile center. So after going back to the juvenile center, um, after that, there was a man that was working at the juvenile center named Harold Robertson. He took me in his house, pretty much raised me as his own, and the rest was history. Uh, he was very instrumental in making me who I am. He was a well-known ball player, and that's what got me into basketball. I mean, I'm in this man's house. I come from nothing. A lot of people in my biological family were in and out of the penal system. So to see a man that was, or to walk around with him, and he was so respected in the community, and everybody knows who he is. I mean, that to me was very humbling and a kind of a cool situation. I wanted to model him. So he told me the things that he did growing up, spending 8, 9 hours a day playing ball. And so I wanted to do that. I mean, he was drafted by the Lakers and all-time leading scorer at Lincoln University and all these cool things. And he had a nephew that lived with him who is now, my best friend, who I call my cousin, um, Kevin. And so everything just, to me, was kind of just shaking out, working out. There are little things that I didn't think about at the time that now have made a big deal in my life, as far as you know, Harold and his wife and their two natural babies were on the main floor, and I was always in the basement. Me and Kevin, we were in the basement, so we didn't think about it at the time. But looking back in hindsight, I think that kind of led into some of my like social disconnectedness, in a sense that I have a lot of insecurities of being a foster kid because first of all, I come from nothing, so I'm always on the lookout. Like, man, do they know? Do they like? Are they seeing, like, are people realizing, like, what I come from? And so it's always kind of like looking over your shoulder, like you just want to fit in with your classmates, but you don't, because you're always like insecure, like how are they viewing me? And I mean, even something as simple as in foster care, you get a voucher to go get clothing, but you can't go to the mall. You got to go to Walmart or you go to Target, and you get to wear like knockoff brand clothes like Rustlers and Wranglers. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but being a kid in an urban community, it's a tough look, and kids ride each other pretty tough. I think now they're making more awareness of the bullying thing, but that's that's very real. Kids are hard on each other, and they're especially hard on kids that are socio-economically challenged. And I definitely was in that category. So I always made it a point, try to crease up everything I had and make it look good. And but I was always, I think it's very insecure in those kind of situations. So being that he kept, we were on the basement floor, and the main family was, on the top floor. There's this, it's a psychological thing that you don't think about then. You're just happy that you got 3 good meals and you got some consistency in your life. Um, that it's that you think that's good enough, but you're not really keeping in mind the psychological damage that you're dealing with. So moving forward, I was very fortunate that I stayed with that same family. And as a foster kid, I ended up going into the military, doing well. I got a bachelor's degree and a master's degree. So a little breakdown of statistics about that situation is that kids that come out of foster care, they have there's less than 5% of people that come out of foster care that obtains a bachelor's degree. Less than 1% of kids that come from foster care obtain a graduate degree. So I'm in the 1%, so that's something I should be very proud about, right? I should be grateful, and I am grateful for that. But there's still this huge hole. Like, I feel insecure everywhere I go. I don't really trust people a whole lot. I have a lot of failed relationships, whether it's friend or intimate. I just do because I don't trust, and I don't know that I deserve to feel good about that situation. So, the moral of this video, really, if it breaks down, I hope it breaks down for you guys, is to understand that, like, as my foster family out there, foster family, is that I don't know that there is if there's ever an end to it. I mean, I'm 30, and I'm sure if you're under 20 watching this video, it seems like an eternity. Um, but I don't know that there's really an end to it, because I still feel like this. I still feel alone. I still question myself, my happiness. I feel like I should always be in a state of chaos. If I'm not in a state of chaos, then I need to create some chaos, because that's what I come from, and I don't want to live like that. I don't think anybody wants to live like that, but I think sometimes there's that peace of mind, and do you really deserve to be happy kind of deal. So I know this is probably not the video that you people thought I was going to just shoot out. That was going to be like, very positive and uplifting, but I just wanted it to be very real and genuine, and that there's more people out there than just you that feel like this and deal with this. And I've been encouraged to write books over the years. I just haven't, but I figured this would be a start to make a video that I've been successful in life. I've done good things, but that I still have this dark side of me that I struggle with. And I hope that anybody um, that's been in foster care, that's is dealing with this stuff, that you just reach out, and that there's other means to reaching out. I was very fortunate. I graduated from Texas State University, and that university has a program called FACES, which is basically foster care alumni creating educational success. That's what it stands for. And basically, they ID kids that have been in foster care, and they give them kind of a safe haven amongst other foster kids to stay in school, because it's tough to stay in anything when you don't feel support. Even the smart kids that come from good stock will fail out after one semester if they've got crazy pressure and they just can't live up to it and they don't have the support. So big ups to Texas State and the FACES program. This is kind of my way of putting a spin on it. Just say, hey, if there's any way that I can help anybody out there, whether you're in college, whether you're a young professional, or you could be an old man that went through this, I don't care, old woman, whatever. Like, um, I'm accessible on Facebook and I'm accessible on YouTube. Reach out to me. If you don't really feel the vibe of reaching out with me, I can connect you with somebody, maybe, hopefully. But the big thing is that I understand that as foster kids or anybody that grew up in that kind of system outside your biological family, you always have baggage. You may not have your own kids, you may not have education or whatever, but you got this baggage that you deal with. And if you don't got other people that's on your team that's vibing with you, sometimes a lot of times it's tough to manage that. So here's my reach out to everybody in the foster care world. I'm reaching out to you. Take it. If not, at least allow me to hook you up or connect you with somebody that that may be able to help you. So, signing off.